a cold day in New Delhi. Most residents woke up to a dense blanket of fog. But things soon warmed up. All thanks to the spirit of 1.4 billion Indians. After all, it is Republic Day today. Not even the cold and fog can keep us down. As you know, Republic Day is steeped in tradition. When it starts, how it starts, what happens when. Everything has been decided based on decades of tradition. And today was no different. It started at the National War Memorial. Prime Minister Modi paid his respects to India's brave hearts. He was joined by the 3 service chiefs. Then focus shifted to Kartavya Path. It was time for the parade. I'm sure most of you watched it live in the morning, but if not, do not worry, we've got you covered. Let's look at the top 10 highlights from this year's parade. French President Emmanuel Macron was the chief guest. His arrival was a break from recent tradition. Normally, the chief guest and the Indian president arrive in limousines. But this time, a horse-drawn carriage was used. Both presidents rode together from Rashtrapati Bhavan. Take a look at this.
President Macron and President Murmu using the traditional Indian greeting.
Some trivia now. The horse-drawn carriage was last used in 1984. Later that year, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated, so the carriage was dropped. It was considered a security issue. But almost 40 years later, it's back. Once Macron and President Murmu arrived, the parade kicked off. First was the national anthem, then a 21-gun salute, and finally a shower of flower petals. 4 helicopters dropped them over the crowd. Next up was the band. 112 women walked down Kartavya Path. They played Indian tribal and folk instruments, like the Nagara, Dhol, and Rag Revati. It was the first all-women band to lead this parade. Then came the military. A contingent from France was part of this parade. 95 marching members and 33 band members. They belonged to the French Legion. It was established way back in 1831. Today, the Legion has more than 9,500 officers and soldiers. They come from 140 nationalities. A French air team was also in New Delhi. 1 Airbus tanker flew over Kartavya Path. It was flanked by 2 French Rafale jets. Last year, the reverse happened. Prime Minister Modi was chief guest on the French National Day. So an Indian contingent marched in Paris. Today, a French contingent marched in New Delhi. It tells you about the cooperation. Next up was Indian regiments. Some of them are household names by now, like the Madras Regiment, or the Rajputana Rifles, or the Sikh Regiment. All of them were in top form, their fleet moving in perfect harmony. The white gloves rising and falling together. It really is a sight to behold. But today, one marching group stood out. An all-women tri-service group. Again, it was a first for India's Republic Day. Women troops were drawn from all 3 services, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force.
Strength, discipline, the dedication of women officers, and unwavering commitment.
Every Republic Day parade is built around themes. One of the themes this year was Nari Shakti, meaning the power of women. We saw that with the band. We also saw that with the tri-service contingent. But there was more lined up. A daring display of motorcycle stunts. 265 women were part of this routine. They were drawn from India's paramilitary groups like the CRPF and the BSF. Their stunts depicted the importance of Indian values. Yoga too was featured. Take a look.
You'll agree that the choreography requires innumerable hours of practice and exacting standards. And as thrilling as it is to see the sport, we must also warn our viewers not to try this or attempt any of these maneuvers on our roads. Please remember that they are professional riders.
So that was the military might. But what's a Republic Day without culture? On 26th January, Kartavya Path is not just a road, it becomes a canvas. All shades of Indian culture find representation on it. And today was no different. One highlight came from the Culture Ministry, a sari extravaganza. The sari, as you know, is a traditional Indian garment. It comes in many styles, designs, weaves and materials. Every state, every region has a different one. So the Culture Ministry put on a show. It wasn't a rolling tableau. Instead, it was an installation. Around 1,900 saris were on display, each of them from different corners of India. But don't worry, the rolling tableau did not disappear. There were 26 of them this year. 15 from Indian states, the rest from government organizations and ministries. We'll show you the best ones. The Indian Space Agency had one. Only seems fair after the year they had. The ISRO tableau featured their biggest achievements in 2023. Of course, Chandrayaan 3 was on it. So was a tribute to women scientists. The Electronics Ministry went for artificial intelligence. Their display had a giant robot in front. It highlighted the use of AI in education and healthcare. Then came the Ministry of External Affairs. Their tableau showed off the G20 logo. It also featured the Bharat Mandapam. That's where India hosted the G20 leaders last year. The sides of the tableau had more depictions, like India's global digital push and the millet programs. Finally, the states. Again, the focus was on culture and women empowerment. Take a look at our best picks. And now for the finale, the much-awaited flypast. The Indian Air Force put on a brilliant show. Around 54 aircraft were involved. You had Apache helicopters, the C-17 transport carrier, the Indian-made Tejas fighter jet, your MiGs and Sukhois, and of course, the Dassault Rafales. The clouds did play spoil sport at times, but thankfully, we have onboard cameras now, so the pictures are stunning. And with that, another parade came to an end. It's the perfect way to celebrate this great country. A bit of culture, a bit of military and might, a bit of science and technology, but in the end, the same idea, the same unwavering belief in a young country with an old civilization. We say Happy Republic Day to all of you.